Hey guys, Bowson Ramos, and there's still no deal in place for Tua Tagovailoa heading into Dolphins training camp, which starts this week. Veterans are reporting tomorrow, as I'm recording this video, July 22nd. Tomorrow, July 23rd, Dolphins are reporting to camp. Now, that only puts us on a 5-week timetable till the start of the season. That's not a lot of time. The Dolphins have been going back and forth all off-season long with Tua and his team, his representatives, his agents, etc. To no avail. There hasn't been any type of deal made, unfortunately, and it's not looking like the case is going to be closed soon. And it's very upsetting because throughout this offseason, we've seen two quarterbacks who, not even biasly, I would put Tua over, but Tua ranks above them in almost every category, and yet still no contract for them, for Tua. So where does this leave the Dolphins? Where does this leave Tua? Where does this leave the landscape of the NFL quarterback market? What goes on from here forward? Well, since Mike McDaniel's arrival in Miami 2 years ago, Tua has been one of the top 5 quarterbacks in major categories like passing yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, and passer rating. So he's an efficient quarterback. Yes, some injuries have plagued his career, starting with the hip injury in Alabama. Then you get into the NFL, obviously the concussion issues. Those are concerns, and those are things that are going to be talked about in these contract negotiations. And someone like Teron Armstead said it best when he was talking with Kay Adams, saying they're going to poke and prod and say like, oh, but this injury, this lack of play, X, Y, and Z. Like, they're going to say all the bad things, but they're also going to talk about all the good things you do. So I hope Tua's not getting slighted in all these contract negotiations. Let's hope that's not the case. But who knows? With veterans arriving tomorrow, this is going to be the biggest start of what is yet to come for the Miami Dolphins and Tua as, you know, a cohesive unit. So far, through the offseason programming, he's been very limited in some of the drills. He's been participating in most drills. The biggest ones he's not been participating on is the 11-on-11s, and that is huge because I get it, it's still just OTAs, etc., but you know, you want the franchise quarterback to be participating in things. And I understand his position, like, hey, I haven't gotten my deal, I'm not going to be putting myself in harm's way, or, you know, it's not so much that he's trying to make the team suffer, but he's trying to put them in a crippling position because that is some leverage he's trying to pull for himself. What are my thoughts on that? I personally do not like it because it just sets kind of like a bad precedence, but if it helps get him closer to his goal of getting a big-time deal with the Miami Dolphins, then why not? But otherwise speaking, I think it's crippling to the team as a whole and not just, you know, his progression or, you know, the team's. It's a lot towards the team. You got to develop that chemistry. Now, he is participating in like 7-on-7s and just certain drills that is just not the whole offensive unit altogether. So it's a little bit upsetting, but let's see what approach he has coming into training camp. Let's say the deal hopefully gets done. I don't think it's going to happen in the relative future, aka within the next month. Hopefully the deal can happen, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So just going to have to wait and see on that one. But it's tough. It's tough. You see guys in the offseason get these big-time contracts who, congrats, somewhat deservingly so, but, you know, Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff got huge contracts this offseason, and that is just setting the precedence of what is to come for Tua. I put Tua above both of these guys, and that's not just me being a Dolphins fan. Like, seeing what Trevor and Jared Goff bring to their teams, sure. Like, Jared Goff, give him the flowers. He's taken his teams to 2 NFC championships before. Like, he's had success in the NFL. So a little bit more so is just so him paying him his flowers, giving him his flowers, etc. But I don't know, 4-year, $212 million contract, which in average will be about $53 million a year. I don't think Jared Goff is worth $53 million a year. Trevor Lawrence, his contract is $275 million, and he's averaging $55 million a year, and just $200 million guaranteed. So, congrats, you guys got highway robbery. But they did also get some pretty sick throwback threads, so those are pretty cool. So shout out to you Jaguar fans. But if you look at the list of quarterbacks who are the highest paid, you have Joe Burrow with a $275 million total dollar contract and 55 average per year. And then you also have his full guaranteed rate is $219 million. And then there's also Trevor Lawrence, which I just mentioned. Jared Goff is third with a $212 million contract and $53 million average per year, $170 million guaranteed. And then another guy from the same draft class as Tua, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua. Those are guys drafted within the first, I think it was 6 picks of the NFL draft in 2020. Justin Herbert, $262 million contract, 52 average per year, $193 million guaranteed. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And quite frankly, if Tua doesn't get paid more than Justin Herbert, it should be a crime. Should be a absolute crime. To round out the top 5 paid quarterbacks, we have Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, right? $260 million, 52 per year, and he got $185 million guaranteed. So if that puts you in any estimation of what Tua should be paid, averagely paid, I think it's very criminal that, you know, Justin Herbert is getting paid more than Tua. That's just my standpoint. As it stands, Tua is very low on the list in terms of quarterbacks getting paid, because he was getting paid like $7 million a year, and then now this upcoming season he's going to be paid $23 million, but then his contract's over with the Miami Dolphins, unless they come to terms on an extension, which, please, as just being the fan of me, please just get it done before the season. That will absolve a lot of issues, and you know, the sooner it gets done, the better. But it's been such a long offseason of, are the Dolphins paying Tua? When are they going to pay Tua? Blah, blah, blah. Get the deal done, Miami Dolphins. But that's pretty much all I have to say. You know, Dolphins are going to report to camp, and if he still continues and being a limited participant in practice, and you know, I'm not going to do these drills, I'll do some of these, etc. That's not good. That's not good for the team, especially heading into a season where there are title aspirations. The Dolphins, yes, they've made it to the playoffs the last 2 years, haven't gotten past the wild card round. Things hopefully will be different this year. And that being said, you want your quarterback to be in the right state of mind and not, oh my God, I'm thinking about my contract. No. We want the Dolphins and Tua to be heading in to training camp in the NFL season, all with a clear mind, clear head, and, you know, having their minds in the right place, aka title aspirations, going to play on through February. So those are my thoughts. I think Tua should be paid as a top 5 quarterback, and he deserves it, man. And his play, it speaks for itself. I mean, even before Mike McDaniel got here, Tua was a pretty decent quarterback. Obviously, the addition of Tyreek Hill has been stellar for him, but it's not like he's not passing the ball to other people. He's passing the ball to other people. He's spreading the ball around. And yes, the debate will be of Tua in cold games. Can they play in the cold? It was negative like 30 degrees in Kansas City. I want you to go outside and try to play football at negative 30 degrees, okay? The conditions were less than ideal. All those other games that are 32 degrees or below, sure, we can have that conversation. But do not come in here and talk about Kansas City playoff game, because no, we're not doing that. But yeah, Tua should be paid as a top 5 quarterback, and deservingly so, because in the past 2 years, he's been playing like a top 5 quarterback, and that's even with dealing with concussion issues. This guy's seeing 3 guys down the field, and he's still throwing the ball pretty well. So those are my thoughts. He's the leader of the Dolphins, and where he goes, the Dolphins will go. So, and a lot of players on the team will agree so. So let's hope the Dolphins find a way to strike a deal with Tua, and let's see what it ends up being worth. But if it's not in the top 5 realm, it's definitely going to be a slide at him, but he has to be getting paid more than, let's see where so we got Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins. Like, if he's not getting paid more than Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, like, if it's below Jalen Hurts' contract, just below Jalen Hurts' contract, that's kind of fine, but it can't. Like, it has to be top 5 money, and deservingly so. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he hopefully will prove all the doubters wrong this season, because I feel like it's a big year loading upward for Tua, especially last year leading the league in passing. So there's only a way, it can only go up from here, and the biggest concern, obviously, is the injuries, the lack of playoff success, given he's only had one shot at a playoff game, and he was freaking freezing. People getting frostbite and like having to amputate parts of their bodies because they had frostbite from that game. So let's put that into consideration, okay? But I understand, you know, you point at some moments, like especially like that Buffalo Bills game, he throws the game-closing interception in the final moments. Like, yes, that's detrimental because you lose out on the division, you lose out on a chance of hosting a playoff game, and things possibly being completely different. But it's in the past, and now we can only look towards the future. And the future I would like to see is Tua being paid a top 5 quarterback. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think there's going to be lots and lots to talk about up in the next couple of weeks heading into the season, and this is going to be a big talking point until it gets done. With those deals getting done this offseason, you better hope Tua's getting paid just around there, or maybe even more. But we'll just have to absolutely see. In terms of what's coming up for this offseason, I mean, for the heading into the season, training camp, etc., not entirely sure what the plan will be for my end. I kind of want to dial back in terms of making like the pregame, postgame. I'll definitely probably do that for the training camp stuff, but I want to make some training camp videos here and there. And then on top of that, you know, I'm definitely going to talk about the preseason games and, you know, what I think of people's progression, who's going to make the roster, X, Y, and Z, just thoughts heading into the season. But then full swing, we're going to be back in the thick of things with the football season. Very close, less than a month and a half away at this point. So let me know how you guys are feeling, if you're excited for the football season to start, and what are your thoughts on this contract negotiation for Tua and what the result might be. Where is he going to end up on the list of paid quarterbacks? I hope and guess it's going to be top 5, but just let me know what your guys' guess would be, and let's see how long this drags out, because I don't want it to drag out longer than today, because I just made this video and it would suck if he gets paid after I just finished editing this video. That's just my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.